off YouTube instead of Facebook, and then that's, we can always transfer it later, so it's not a big problem. But just that those who usually connect on Facebook will just have a challenge today because they won't find anything. So sorry about that. So apologies in advance. Later on, when you watch this on Facebook, this will be a recording which will have transferred from YouTube. But those who have access to YouTube can go watch there. It's also Rev Walter Mombazi. You just type that on YouTube and it'll show up. So meantime, it's another morning, and today is almost record cold. I was looking at the temperatures today. We will not exceed 16 degrees. So you can bet, Auntie Sylvia, look, I've got enough. I'm warm today. so when I come, I am warm. I think you just have to bear with us. We'll have to switch on one tab, but then that room is very big, so it can't work. Otherwise, you'd have switched on those air cons and set them at 31 degrees, and the room actually would warm up. But then, but anyway, either way. So today is Tuesday. I'm all geared. To those of you joining us, I've got my mindset change program. I'll be actually carrying this with me to the meeting. Got my homework done. And looking forward to that. I should be starting off in the next 10 minutes. So until you just have to wrap up the meeting. I'll change the settings so that you are host. And then when you're done, just literally switch it off, like end for all, or else it will remain on throughout. For the few of you that have joined us today, Masuji Ngoza, Z, as always, Uncle Steve, welcome to our program this morning. And it is Mindset Change. And the title this morning, I've seen Until has given it, is Business Usual versus Business Unusual. And so we are looking forward to hearing more from her concerning that. For myself, I look forward to being part of the program this day as we continue to put things in place. There's a lot I'm also working on. There's a whole area. One of the things that I've learned is if I had a drawing, I'd show you. If this is a circle, this area is called your comfort zone. This is where normally we all are. We kind of are stuck there. Maybe I should do it this side. Yeah, okay, I'll use this. Yeah, so we're usually stuck here around the area of comfort. And if we remain here, we can never grow. We can never succeed. We can never, because our success always lies outside here. This is where your success lies. It's always outside your place of familiarity. So if this is your place of familiarity, your place of success is here. Now, most people don't like that because the implication is that you have to move from here and venture into unknown territory. This is unknown territory. And a lot of people are very scared of being here. So what most people do is they'll just remain here. But unless you are willing that
the clouds are making you, we are not hearing you.
Distinct zones. The zone now. Oh, you can't hear me?
No.
Hello? Hello? You're saying you can't hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Okay, Rev has disappeared, so we can just pick it up. Okay, there he is. But what he's trying to demonstrate is exactly what this topic is all about. Business unusual and business as usual. It is indeed a mindset change problem. And why do we say it's a mindset change problem? Because we want, even when the environment has changed, when things have changed, we still want to be as if things are still the same. And this is why this morning, I was thinking, and as we were busy preparing all these changes that have come through, and we just want to be business as usual, but we have to start to shift mindset. We have to start to get to that other place where we have shifted from the comfort zone, from the way we did things. We have shifted from how we carry ourselves. We have shifted from, just the usual. Even when I was trying to do the invitation, I said, oh, wow, maybe I should be able to do it the other way. Let me put something that is unusual. So I was looking and looking for something. So I went to ask Uncle Google, how is business unusual done? And I was looking at the business cards, and I came across the business card for Heineken. Business cards for Heineken has got beer on it. It's got a case of a can of beer on it. And that when you receive that card, actually, you will start speaking about Heineken or how they do their business, what is providing them with all sorts of things that we really would not be able to undertake. And for me, when I saw that, I said, oh, wow. So everything really needs to, we need to shake ourselves to make sure that what we are doing is something that can take us somewhere, not business as usual. Even, I was looking at, there's going to be this conference, this lecture about the first lecture for KK. I saw it on TV. And I made a call because they mentioned, tourism. They mentioned, former Minister Tabombeki coming to do the first lecture. And I saw, I know the peers. I'm a natural tourism ambassador promoter. So I said, oh wow, let me call and see if I could be involved, because anyone who mentions KK, it's like they're looking for me, right? But that is our thinking of business as usual, that, oh, if they're talking about KK, someone is going to call me. And you think that someone would be able to know. So what did I do? I was not waiting for someone to actually contact me. I contacted the PS. The PS says, oh, the person that is doing this program is so-and-so. Call them. It was Sunday, so I was waiting for Monday because I didn't want to disturb somebody's weekend. On Monday, first thing I called. And guess what? We have been looking for you. We have been looking for you. And we really want to see some of these things that you were doing with KK. Guess what? If I was waiting for business as usual, for someone to connect with me, I was not going to have that privilege. But now I'm inside. I'm saying we have to shift from being expectant to something that you can be able to do when, in actual fact, you would have missed the opportunity. So this is what even Rev was saying about us shifting from the comfort zone, where you know that this thing is going to happen, where you know that this is what I need to realize, this is what I need. And because people are used, Tuesday, Sunshine Sylvia, it's Sunshine Sylvia's day, so she's going to post herself and what, because it is unusual. So instead of having 30 people, we've got less people. But guess what? It is so interesting because for us, we are moving forward, and it is just so amazing how people are realizing that they need to do business unusual. So business as usual is a term that refers to the standard day-to-day business operations in an organization. Business operation in an organization. Why do we say in an organization? Because even as ourselves, we are an organization, we are an enterprise, we are in the middle of us looking at who we are an organization. We are You Incorporated. And when we are You Incorporated, we look at the things that we're able to do by ourselves. So these operations can include staff members carrying out their daily tasks as defined by their job description. And even when we do the mindset change program, we actually give you your job description. We align you with your job description. What are you doing in that job? When you wake up, when you go to the office, what do you do so that you can be effective, efficient, and save time so that you can align the 24 hours in these areas that need your attention? So the first, the first records of the phrase business as usual come from the late 1918s. So these are things that have been there from day immemorial. The phrase is thought to originate from stories announcing they would continue to operate as they usually did, despite an emergency or interrupting event that has occurred. When these things have occurred, they have occurred, but it's for us to make sure that what is it that we can do better. So what is meant by business unusual? It means letting go of the certainties of the past. Now, these are things that are often thought of as the best practice in business. In pursuit of a spirit of inquiry and experimentation towards new approaches. And these new approaches, these ones are the ones that are called next practices, the things that we're going to learn so that we can be able to achieve the very things that we want to achieve. I mean, developing the muscles, the energy, the enthusiasm that is needed within our organization to respond to this period of immense change, like the way we have experienced COVID and its effects on business, in the way people engage in the business or any other occupational activity. These are the areas where we are thinking, how am I going to be able to, to achieve the same things that I did achieve? There's those things, like for example, when we talk about the amount of money that we used to buy, the amount of money that we needed to buy the same things in Europe, they're still $100. But here, it has gone to the same $100 that was 60 kwacha is the same $100 that is now 1,700. So we can see that things are changing. And for us, if we remain in that same state and our surrounding, remains in that state that, when somebody walks in the shop, they expect to buy the same skate which they bought 4 years ago at $650. They expect it to be at $650 even today. So their thinking is business as usual. But in the same space, business has become unusual. But business unusual isn't easy. This is what we must all realize. And all those people that have passed through the mindset change, they have seen that business isn't easy. Doing things differently get people hot under the collar, and simply hot under the collar. It's called somebody sweating. It's something is happening. It's just happening in a different way. And when somebody is hot under the collar, it's for good reasons. It requires a letting go of long-held, beliefs and making space for new ways of doing things. This is why when we say mindset change is a process, and we have taken it's 16 hours for us to just be in this space where we say, how can we shift the things that we have we've been doing? How can we let go of those things? It's a process. It's not a one-day fix it. It requires a complete change of mindset. When you are embracing business unusual, try focusing on learning. You learn, even on failure, you learn. Even when you say things didn't work out, you learn. It's an experience. New relationships formed and new skills acquired is part of the relearning and learning of how we are going to now perform business unusual. business unusual often doesn't generate revenue immediately. This is where sometimes we make a mistake. I come to the course, they give you the means, and when they give you the means, for you it is difficult because you are used to business as usual where things should be able to be done by someone. But when we use the mirror image, where you're saying, this is me, and you're looking at yourself and you don't see that other person who is supposed to be doing things for you, that is now where you now embrace business unusual. You have to now, business unusual often operates in a situation where everything you have to shift. You have to shift the majority of the things. So it's important to be able to articulate your wealth in these often areas to your business stakeholders. When we say business stakeholders, we mean everyone else that is around. We mean everyone else that is going to be part of the business. We have to inform them. We have to make sure that everyone around us know that something is happening. There's something unusual happening. Committed stakeholders are inherently positioned to lead and implement successful programs. When they recognize and take ownership of the problem that they are working to change and all of the risks they must have to take to achieve their goals, they drive progress to success. And this is how we try to shift this so that as you think of the things that you did before, try to have a comparative program that will say, when we did this, this is what happened. So when we do this now, you expect a different outcome. And this is why even many leaders have talked about how you need to if you are doing the same things all the time and expect a different outcome, it's called insanity. And why are we saying all this? It's because we have to realize that for us to shift from where we have been to where we want to go, we have to do things unusual. How do we apply this in respect of the mindset change process that SBM Consulting and Coaching are championing? We have some practical examples to showcase. And these are some of the areas, even when we look at the businesses that we are running. It has been 2 years since these are some of the practical examples, that we can give ourselves in our own environment where we are. It has been 2 years since the first cases of COVID-19 were reported in Zambia. During this period, there has been no outdoor activity. There has been no activities. And when we let go of ourselves and we want to go and find things, it's like, oh, these things needed. Oh, these things have changed. But we know that things have changed. Things have changed in terms of marketing, in terms of trading, and in terms of general business with physical involvement. This is why we are doing this online. It's because things have changed. And I'm so happy that some people have really made use of the platforms that have been created by these changes. And when we look at the changes, like now, right now there's a trade fair. People have been coming to say, to see and see what they can wear at trade fairs and at the shows. So we are ready to educate those that want to go and participate at the trade fair, at the show, that there's business unusual. How can we coexist? How can we make sure that people know our challenges and come and help us so that we make them understand that it's no longer business as usual. Now people need, to help you get the resource, then you order for them, and then, you just agree what are the payment terms and things like that. But if people are expecting that they will walk into a shop 2 days before trade fair or 2 days before the shows, 2 days, and find the things that they need, they are doing business as usual. So it is our responsibility to make people understand that this is business unusual. With business unusual, trade fairs and shows are back, full companies, but they are behaving the same as in the pre-COVID-19 period. They still send inquiries from their workplaces and expect to find a shop full of goods at the same pre-pandemic prices and services the same as before. Now instead of probably having 4 sales ladies, you have 2 sales ladies. Maybe the other 2, they are working in the field to get the business, but people who are not privy to these things, they would never know. So education and everyone being in this space where we must start doing business as unusual is very, very important. So for post-pandemic, business is now business unusual. Thinking has to change, hence the need for adoption of a correct mindset. But how can we, if you think behind, the scenes or on the core, I want you to actually just think about this a minute and, or 30 seconds or, 10 seconds. How can we relate with business unusual? What does it take to adopt the new business conditions? If we can type in the chat box, what does it take for us to be in the business unusual mode? What does it take? How can we help one another to determine the business unusual? How can we do that? Anyone can open, to speak and just share how you think business can be done. Yesterday, we were discussing with Dr. Mwansa about how we can do this. Maybe he's in the other room. He can comment and see how business unusual can undertake very quickly in a minute. Okay. Okay, if there's no one commenting, you can comment, you can raise your hand in the process. We continue because there will be a gap in the recording and you will not be able to undertake.
I can comment.
All right, please go ahead.
Thank you. We are now in different environment. We are in unpredictable and tough environments. But we have to do business. So instead of sticking along, we have to change with the environment. And one of the changes that we need to do is changing the mindset, the understanding. And if you notice, other people in other parts of the world have changed, and we're still lagging behind, hoping that we're going to go back to the olden days. That's gone and past. It's part of our history. It will not be part of our current times. So it will be very important for us to have an appropriate mindset shift and live in a different environment. Let us embrace change as it comes. Let us look at the small things that change every day and adopt with them. Why is change there? Change is there because we need to change in order to become relevant to the dictates of the day. And otherwise, we'll be left behind and far for good. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, thank you so much. So for us to adopt to operating in a business unusual environment, we have to invest, first of all. We have to invest, time and money in changing our own mindset in order to learn how to be effective, efficient, and able to manage our 24 hours in the 6 areas of life, being family and home, because even this has to change. Because sometimes we just want to change the financial and career scope of the wheel of life, but forgetting that we also have to start with family and home changes so that we can be able to understand one another. We can be able to say, okay, now we were doing this at home, we were doing this, for now we can't do this because of ABC. You explain, you make people understand, people around you. You have to change your shopping things because now you are still getting the same amount of money, but things have doubled in price. So how do you do that? If you had, you used to, to buy certain things, you have to drop them and replace them with the actual things that you really need. If you we call it save $1 a day or save a kwacha a day. If we're using 6 tissues, you go and teach other people, your household to say you cannot be, using this. If you're using 4 teaspoons of sugar, you can start using 2 teaspoons of sugar, you save something. So starting with family and home, you go to financial and career. What are these things? You lack a skill because now you need to go and learn how to be online. If you learn how to be online, you need bundles. If you have to join some people, they say they cannot join a Zoom meeting, they cannot join this, and they are failing to join. They're not even failing to join. They simply don't know how to get there. And they haven't bought bundles, but they're trying to get there and it's refusing. It's just going round, and then they cannot join. Why? They haven't shifted. They haven't taken time to go and learn what it takes for you to enjoy those services and privileges. Mental and education, we have to pay attention to it. The new knowledge, like I've said, mental and education could be you just being deliberate about knowing how to work with Zoom or with Teams or just getting online or just sending messages, clear messages, because now you don't have to, those days when you send a message, somebody doesn't understand, they'll quickly call you. But now they'll just say, well, they don't understand. So we also have to change how we communicate online, be specific, use all the symbols that would make someone to understand. That's part of mental and education where you're learning how to communicate. Physical and health, we have to know that things have changed. Now we need to be on supplements because, supplements have got certain, aspects that will make you feel good because we're not eating enough. We are not, exercising. We are not open. Our immune system has deteriorated because of the COVID. And especially if you're a survivor of COVID, you need to get extra care. Now it's time, to put on. You cannot pretend it's cold and you want to be a macho man and go with a t-shirt around. It's not just going to work. So these are some of the, practical things that we can see. It's cold. You have to change and put on warm clothes. Spiritual and ethical, how are you spiritually aligned? How ethical are you? Are you living like you're in Big Brother? It's a change that we must do. Social and cultural, we have to now join networks that are going to make us really get to that. And we say networks are only, the people you need are only 5 contacts away. But if you're not deliberate to be in this social and cultural, have your values, you have to change and make sure that what you need is you're able to get it. In all these areas, we have to find the new or unusual way of doing things. From the old or usual way of doing things, we have to be deliberate about it. This is, and change is a process, and we have to keep working at it. Review at regular intervals, manage any changes which you convert into opportunities. In change management, we don't call all these things as problems. We call them opportunities because we call them challenges because these challenges actually give you opportunities for you to do something better. And all these, you have to do them. You have to move. You have to move on with dogged determination. I love Paul J. Meyer, the person that have really studied and I can do whatever he tells me to do in the way that I manage. Because he says everyone must have dogged determination where you're doing things hour by hour, you're planning hour by hour, day by day, month by month, year by year, so that you're able to actually bring out those results that you really want. He died, I think this is almost 10 years ago, but we're still using his methods because we have said he developed in us that it's change, it's a process, and you have to do things different with it, dogged determination. And this is where a lot of us go wrong, where we think that things are just going to happen when I just mention them, or when I put a goal without really specifying what activities I'm going to be doing so that I can get to where I need to do. When we achieve successful outcomes, we need to celebrate. And for me, this is what I'm going to end with. Because most of the time when we do, these things that we are always undertaking, we forget to celebrate the little successes that we are making. We have to make sure that we celebrate these successes. And for us, even at the Mindset Change program, we have a day at the end of the month where we review what we've done. We review the small changes that we have made, the small successes that we are making. We call those people, if it's family and home, if it's financial and career, we call them through and celebrate. It doesn't matter how small the change has become, or the success you have made. It matters for you to be able to push through with that dogged determination that can, the motivation makes you to get to the other things and be successful in all these areas, as we call them. So I wish you all the best, those ones that are joining us this morning for our cohort 30 on mindset change and shifting to the way that we do things. You are all welcome to join in anytime on Tuesdays, on Thursdays, and when we have a boot camp, we post them in the alumni, you'll be able to see and join. Or those ones who want to join us in future, they can just inbox Z and, or go to our www.sbmsunshinesylviaconsulting.com, and you'll be able to join our calls and our lessons as we develop one another to business unusual, because this is where we are going and this is what is demanded of us. So have a very good morning. As I wait for Rev to join, I go and meet up with him. So have a good day and thank you for joining the call. Sunshine signing off.